Everything with Wang Shengjai, it's like there's levels and levels, and it's almost like gamified. Like the more you genuinely practice honestly in terms of fight training and combining the elements of each one towards a fight training outcome, the more you see the like different levels in Wang Shengjai's thinking. So the idea of there being no secrets, it isn't just about teachers being open. You know, it's a more profound idea than that. You talk about Taoism and stuff like that. It's a much more profound idea. It's about the idea that you already know everything really that you need to know in terms of movement. You know, for most people, I suppose if you've been paralysed all your life and unable to move, then you might not know that. But experiential knowledge for people who've moved, who move, then you do know. It speaks to this idea that you can't actually learn each one at all. You just unfold it. And this is obviously kryptonite to these ego walruses because their entire ego structure is designed to draw you in, and you know, it's usually about money. It doesn't have to be about money. Exploitation doesn't have to be about money. And Yu Yongyan particularly is specific on this, and he says like it doesn't have to be about money, and it doesn't even have to be dishonest. Like you can genuinely believe, and most of them do genuinely believe that they are the real deal for some unknown reason. Like in the back of their minds, they must think at some point like, well, they must, when anyone mentions sparring or anything like that, they must absolutely crap themselves. They must think, you know, like, God, I've got to avoid that at all costs, you know, maintain the fantasy. But Yu Yongyan says it's still exploitation, even if they just exploit your time. And even if they think they're being honest about it, it's still criminal. He calls it criminal. It doesn't matter. There's people who claim to be descended from Zhao Daoxin who are absolutely appalling and spout the most nonsense, and people who descended so-called from Yu Yongyan who are just absolutely appalling. There's no way of, there's a way of dealing with it, but I'll talk about that another time. So that their whole ego structure and the whole business structure is structured around this idea that each one comes from them. And they transmit it like this kind of apostolic church where Jesus put his hand on St. Peter and then St. Peter put his hand on the head of the next, you know, patriarch. And so on it goes on like this, and you know, and all the apostles and bishops are all in this apostolic succession. Somehow the grace of God is passed down through this feudal cascade. So there's a particular person who's a famous European Yiquan instructor who wrote this post on Facebook where he's actually saying this like he's like the guardian of the. So he's a really famous, you know, orthodox Yiquan instructor. He's the guardian of these secrets, and this is what Wang Shengjai really meant. Apparently, that he didn't mean that there are no secrets. He meant that there really are secrets, and you've got to pay this individual to find them. And also explicitly saying in this article, you know, you've got to get on your knees and grovel in the Baishi and be a slave to the master, and the master-disciple relationship is so important in this. They would say that, wouldn't they? Because they want your money and your time and your worship. They would say that. Whereas what Wang Shengjai is saying is, no, really, there are no secrets. Like step by step through intuitive progression and training properly. And I'll talk about what I mean by training properly, but even that, you intuitive, it's not a secret, you know. You combine intuitive development of whole body connectivity and quintessence principles of Chinese wushu, and you combine them with the latest ideas in fight training. It's, you know, and the latest and the best available ideas in fight training. It's as simple as that. You follow that path honestly, and everything unfolds and all those secrets are revealed in time.